There are a lot of competing theories out there for how or why humans have consciousness. Not just what we think, but why we even started thinking at all. Out of all the theories that exist, the one that may be considered the most controversial would be the stoned ape theory. The basic idea is that ancient humans that did not yet have higher consciousness, sparked that higher level of thought into existence after consuming psilocybin mushrooms. The idea was theorized by Terence McKenna. As paradoxical as it sounds, eating the dung of other animals could have led us to become the self-aware, highly intelligent beings we are today. If you're left confused or perplexed by this thought, then all you have to do is keep on watching. GlobalBazaar.com. Terence Kemp McKenna was an American ethnobotanist, mystic, psychonaut, lecturer, author, and an advocate for the responsible use of naturally occurring psychedelic plants. He spoke and wrote about a variety of subjects including psychedelic drugs, plant-based entheogens, shamanism, metaphysics, alchemy, language, and the theoretical origins of human consciousness. He was called the Timothy Leary of the 90s, one of the leading authorities on the ontological foundations of shamanism and the intellectual voice of rave culture. Arguably, his most popular theory involving psychedelics was the stoned ape theory, as outlined in his book, Food of the Gods. The basic idea of this theory states that humans were able to develop their self-consciousness through using psilocybin mushrooms in a stage before they were Homo sapiens. Let's dive deeper into this theory. For those who don't already know, a psilocybin mushroom is one of the polyphyletic group of fungi that contain psilocybin and psilocin. When ingested, these compounds produce profound mental effects which vary from person to person. Hallucinations, bright colors, and wavy field of views are one of the many effects reported. These mushrooms also cause users to tap into parts of their consciousness that were not previously available to them, which is why this theory remains a possibility. McKenna believed that psilocybin caused the primitive brain's information processing capabilities to rapidly reorganize, which in turn kickstarted the rapid evolution of cognition that led to the early art, language, and technology written in Homo sapiens' archaeological record. As early humans, he said, we ate our way to higher consciousness by consuming these mushrooms, which he hypothesized grew out of animal manure. Psilocybin, he said, brought us, quote, out of the animal mind and into the world of articulated speech and imagination. As human cultural evolution led to the domestication of wild cattle, humans began to spend a lot more time around the feces of said cattle. And because psilocybin mushrooms commonly grow in cow droppings, quote, the human mushroom interspecies codependency was enhanced and deepened. It was at this time that religious ritual, calendar making, and natural magic came into their own. McKenna, who died in 2000, firmly believed in his hypothesis, but it was never considered by any scientific community during the time he was alive. Dismissed as excessively speculative, McKenna's hypothesis now only pops up occasionally in online message boards and Reddit pages dedicated to psychedelics. However, a man named Paul Stamets, a psilocybin mycologist, recently advocated for the stone ape theory in his talk in April 2017 at Psychedelic Science 2017, which was a conference on psychedelics attended by professional researchers and scientists who believe in the positive potential of these drugs. In his talk, Psilocybin Mushrooms and the Mycology of Consciousness, he states, quote, I present this to you because I want to bring back the concept of the stoned ape hypothesis. What is really important for you to understand is that there was a sudden doubling of the human brain 200,000 years ago. From an evolutionary point of view, that's an extraordinary expansion, and there is no explanation for this sudden increase in the human brain. The doubling he talked about is quite accurate, but the details are still up for debate. Some anthropologists believe that the brain size of Homo erectus doubled between 2 million and 700,000 years ago. Meanwhile, it's estimated that the brain volume in Homo sapiens grew 3 times larger between 500,000 and 100,000 years ago. Thoroughly explaining the stoned ape hypothesis to the crowd, Stamets further explains that, quote, the largest psilocybin mushroom in the world is growing bodaciously out of dung of the animals. Is this enough to start doing more research and actually start believing in the credibility of this theory? Most would say maybe. We can start with looking between McKenna's view of the development of consciousness and other, more mainstream theories, including the commonly accepted view that it emerged over thousands of years and that language played a central part in its evolution. Even though it is widely accepted that consciousness was not formed due to a single and immediate thing, it can still be said that some of what McKenna said is accurate. After all, the development of consciousness over those several thousand years could have actually started due to the first instances we had with ingesting psilocybin. It's possible that one day we will find the answer for certain, as the study of the development of consciousness is still fairly new. Thank you for listening, and I hope we were able to expand your consciousness. For more info on the Stoned Ape theory, head over to globalbazaar.com.